morning. In the last two lectures, we have discussed about introduction to vibrations, and we have discussed the natural frequency of longitudinal vibration. And today's lecture, we will see the transverse vibration and natural frequency evaluation. Okay, before let me enter into this topic, just go through the previous part what we have covered in the last two lectures. Let me repeat in few minutes. We have distinguished the vibrations based upon the type of the motion. Three different vibrations we called. One is called longitudinal vibration. The second one is called transverse vibration. Third one is torsional vibration. So we have shown longitudinal vibration is a one where the mass is simply allowed to vibrate longitudinally like this. So this will have certain stiffness. So the mass is going to vibrate. This is the first longitudinal vibration, the category. The second vibration which we said is transverse vibration, where the vibrating body will vibrate like this way or like this way. So it will move in this way. This is the second vibration which we call transverse vibration. Third one which we said a torsional vibration, where the rotor, if you assume there is a disc connected to shaft which is twisted and untwisted. So these are the three types of vibrations which we have discussed in the last lectures, that is longitudinal, then transverse, then third one is a torsional vibration. This is one classification what we made in the earlier classes. And we have also classified in another classification called free vibration, forced vibration, damped and undamped vibration. Forced vibration, then damped and undamped. This is another classification we made. Now today's lecture will confine a free vibration with a transverse category. So we will go for a vibration, free vibration with the transverse category. So here we defined a term called natural frequency. So natural frequency, the word that comes for only free vibration. What is natural frequency? Natural frequency is nothing but it is the frequency the body will vibrate by applying an external force initially and subsequently not adding any additional force, which causes certain vibration to the body, and the corresponding body vibrates with a frequency. That frequency is called its natural frequency. This is what we discussed in the last lectures. Now I will go to a transverse vibration and to find out its natural frequency. Okay, so for this case, let us take a cantilever like there is a cantilever beam where there is a mass M or weight W is attached to this cantilever beam. Okay, so as you are aware of it, this will have certain mass and this member will have certain elasticity. So due to its own weight, this will undergo certain amount of deformation by its own delta. Okay, so delta is nothing but the deformation that or the deflection obtained due to its own weight. Okay, then now after it is going to be deflected to a small amount, like now give a displacement by an amount of x. That means your mass is now shifted to a new location where the displacement is given by an x. So this is the mean position. This is the mean position, and whereas this is position of the shaft. Position of the shaft center after applying a force which causes a displacement of x, isn't it? So this is the body. Now you can see the body is going to be is shifting to a new location like this, and this body will also undergo an upward motion also. This way also this will undergo. So it vibrates from this position to this position, okay, with a displacement of x. Of course, this displacement is gradually decays. Okay, so for this case, okay, how to find out the natural frequency? So this is delta is the static deflection, and x is the displacement given. X is the displacement given and delta is the static deflection. Okay, so you can see here there will be a stiffness this beam will have. That stiffness is K. So stiffness of the shaft is K. Okay, and the displacement is given Kx. So you have here the force in the upward direction is a restoring force is K times of x, and I will take it upward is a negative minus Kx. And when you give a displacement and there will be an acceleration, so there will be an accelerating force which is called, this is mx double dot r, that is m d square x by dt square, m d square x by dt square, which is called accelerating force. So accelerating force is equal to m d square x by dt square. So using the equilibrium method, okay, we have three methods. One is equilibrium method, and another one is a Rayleigh's method, and third one is Rayleigh's method, equilibrium method, and energy method. So using the equilibrium method or Newton's method, let us write the restoring force is equal to accelerating force. So restoring force is equal to accelerating force is equal to accelerating force. So what is restoring force? The force which tries to keep the body into the original state is called restoring force, and accelerating force is the force which is applied on the body to get the displacement. So that is m d square x by dt square is equal to minus kx. So if you take it on the left hand side, m d square x by dt square is plus kx is equal to 0. So this is the governing equation. This is the governing equation for a transverse vibration carrying a load W at the end. So that also can be rewritten md square x by dt square plus kx is equal to 0 can be written as d square x by dt square plus k by m into x is equal to 0. So we have taken k by m is equal to omega square and omega is equal to root k by m. Okay, this is the governing equation. Then we can write Fn is 1 by time period. Okay, so that is 1 by 2 pi root k by m. So Fn is equal to 1 by time period, where that can be written as Fn is equal to 1 by 2 pi root k by m. So from the basic fundamentals, we have seen k by m also can be written as z by delta. So this is valid for both longitudinal vibration as well as the transverse vibrations. So 1 by 2 pi root z by delta. So where if you want to write Tp, this will be 2 pi root m by k or 2 pi root, this is delta by z. So you can see here the natural frequency of a transverse vibration is simply function of z and delta. Okay, and what is this delta? This delta is the static deflection. So it is not function of what is the displacement that you have given it to the vibration. So it is immaterial how much amount of the displacement you have given initially to vibrate the body, because in the equation of the natural frequency you don't have term related to x. So you have a term related to delta, and what is a delta? Delta is nothing but static deflection, which is a function of stiffness of the shaft. So it is a function of the stiffness of the shaft, okay, and it is not function of the displacement what we provide. So this is the natural frequency of a free transverse vibration. It is natural frequency of free transverse vibration. So if you don't consider inertia of the shaft, suppose if you consider inertia of the shaft, if you consider inertia of shaft, consider inertia of shaft. So here I have not considered the shaft inertia. I said that there is a weight added at the end which will have a mass of m or weight of w. So suppose if you consider inertia of the shaft, then Fn is equal to 1 by 2 pi root over k by m plus ms by 3. So your equation, the natural frequency equation of 1 by 2 pi root k by m will be simply modified as 1 by 2 pi root over k by m plus ms by 3. So what is this ms by 3? Ms is corresponding to mass of the shaft. Mass of the shaft. Here I have not considered mass, okay, or mass of the spring, whatever it may be. So this I have not considered in the earlier case, okay, and this is valid for longitudinal vibration. Longitudinal. This equation is valid for longitudinal vibration. And what about for transverse vibration? So for transverse vibration, the natural frequency, when you consider inertia of the shaft, then I can write here Fn that is longitudinal. Fn T, that is the transverse vibration. So this is 1 by 2 pi root over k by m plus some, let me call some not y, let us assume it is some a times of ms by a times of ms. Why I have written here a times of ms, I will explain you. So in the transverse vibration, you can see this may be like a cantilever beam, or this may be a simply supported beam, or it may be like both ends fixed. So it depends upon my end condition, I will change the value of A. So for case of longitudinal vibration, it is simply 1 by 2 pi into root over k by m plus ms by 3. Whereas for transverse vibrations, we can expect the transverse vibration depends upon the end conditions of the shaft or the beam, like cantilever, like fixed beam, okay, and simply supported beam. So if you take a cantilever, then this A value for cantilever the value of A is, the cantilever, the value of A is 33 by 140. For a cantilever, like this case, this is 33 by 140. Okay. So in case of fixed beam, that is both ends are fixed, and the load is applied at the midspan. Okay, in that case, the value of A is equal to 13 by 35. The value of A is 13 by 35. Fixed beam. Okay. Then simply supported beam. For simply supported beam, load is applied at the midspan the value of A is equal to, the value of A is equal to 17 by 35. So based upon the nature of the beam, A values are available. In the first case, it is 33 by 140, that is cantilever. And in case of a fixed beam, where the point load is applied at the middle and both the ends are fixed, A value will be 13 by 35, and simply supported beam with mid-span, a point load is applied, it will be 17 by 35. So depends upon the nature of the end condition. So the natural frequency of a transverse vibration will vary. That is 1 by 2 pi root k by A times of ms, where ms is the mass of the shaft. A is a factor which controls the nature of the beam, cantilever, fixed beam and simply supported beam. Okay, so this is a natural frequency of a free transverse vibration. Okay, and we have also seen a longitudinal case also in case of if you consider the inertia effect. So first we derived without considering the inertia, then we considered the inertia. When we consider the inertia of the beam, then the equations will be modified with the additional component of like ms. Okay, then we will see a problem on the concept what we have discussed just now. So now we will solve a problem based upon the theory what we have discussed just now. Okay, so the problem goes like this: a shaft with a diameter of 50 mm and length of 300 mm carrying a mass of 100 kg. Okay, the shaft modulus of elasticity is given 200 gigapascal. Find the natural frequency of the shaft by assuming once it is like a longitudinal case and another one is like a transverse case. Okay, so this is like a cantilever treating once there is a mass connected at the end, and the other case like this. Okay, this is longitudinal and this is the transverse. You are supposed to find out the natural frequency by the longitudinal state and like a transverse. First we will consider the longitudinal case. So longitudinal mode. So we know that Fn, that is the natural frequency, is given by 0.4985 by delta. So don't consider this is a new formula which is not obtained just now. This is same formula, that is Fn is equal to 1 by 2 pi root k by m or 1 by 2 pi root g by delta, where g is substituted 9.81 and 2 and pi values everything has substituted, then we will get the simplified version like Fn is equal to 0.4985 by root delta. This is not a new value which is known to you. Fn is equal to 1 by 2 pi root k by m, which is 1 by 2 pi root z by delta. So substitute the g value 9.81. Okay, then you have to substitute delta in meters, of course, to get this is in frequency hertz. So this is 9.81 meters per second square. So substitute g value and pi value, which is 22 by 7. Then you get this equation. Fn is equal to 0.4985 by delta. What is delta? Delta is nothing but static deflection. Delta is static deflection. So first I am taking it's a longitudinal case. So this is the bar with a length of L with a diameter of D, and the weight is Wmz, mass is given actually. So 100 kg into 9.81 becomes the load. So this is actually mass. It has given kg, so it becomes a mass. Okay. Now, what is delta equation? We know the delta equation, that is for longitudinal case. What is the delta equation? So, WL by AE. So, for a longitudinal case, I have to get its static deflection. How to get the static deflection? Delta is equal to WL by EE. So, what is W? W is load, which is 100 into 9.81. Then L, length. Let me write in meters. That is how much length of the bar is 300 mm. So 0.3. A is equal to pi by 4 d square. E, modulus of velocity. So 200 GPa, 200 into, that is 10 power 9. So Newton per meter square. So D value, how much it is given? 50 mm. That is 50 into 10 power minus 3 whole square. So by substituting this, you will get the value of delta, which is 0.751 into 10 power minus 6 meters. So what I did, simply I have taken it is simply a bar which is at the end connected with a load of W, and what is the static deflection? The static deflection equation is WL by AE. By substituting this given data, mass is 100 kg into 9.81, okay, and length is 0.3 meters, and area, circular area, pi by 4 d square. D diameter is 50 mm, so into 10 power minus 3 gives the meters. So into 200 into 10 power 9, because modulus of velocity is given GPa, so Pascal is Newton per meter square. So I want to get in meters like this. So after getting this, you substitute Fn is 0.4985 by 0.75 into 10 power minus 6. So by substituting this, you get this is 575 H. This is the first case. Then coming to the second case, that is the transverse vibrations. So I am treating this case is a cantilever, because I said if I take it in a different ways, like a fixed beam and simply supported beam, my value of the natural frequency is varying. So my assumption is here a cantilever beam. A cantilever beam. A cantilever beam. Okay. So for a cantilever beam, the equation is, so the same equation, Fn is equal to 0.4985 by root delta. Of course, we are not considering the inertia effect. So even if you consider either cantilever or a fixed beam or simply supported beam, it doesn't matter. If you consider the inertia, then those terms will come into the picture. So a cantilever beam, so what is the equation for a delta? Delta is equal to W L cube by 3EI. So delta is equal to WL cube by 3EI. So that is a cantilever beam with point load at free end, which gives the delta value is WL cube by 3EI. So load W is how much it is? Load is mass is 100 kg, 100 into 9.81. Length L 300 mm, 0.3 whole cube by 3. Modulus of velocity 200 into 10 power 9 gigapascal. So 10 power 9 Pascal. Then I pi by 64 d to the power of 4, where d is equal to 50 into 10 power minus 3, that is in meters. Then you get the value of delta is 0.147 into 10 power minus 3 meters. By substituting here, you get the value of delta. Once you get the value of delta, Fn, with the same equation but delta variation, you get the natural frequency of transverse vibration and longitudinal vibration is different. That is 4985 by 0.147 into 10 power minus 3. So here you get it is 41 hertz. It is 41 hertz. Okay. So you can see there is a huge difference between the frequency of the natural frequency of the longitudinal vibration and the natural frequency of the transverse vibration, because it is function of the deflection. So the deflection value here is 0.147 into 10 power minus 3, and whereas here it is 0.75 into 10 power minus 6. Okay, so small amount of the deflection. So if you look at this equation, if the deflection is less, then you have more natural frequency. So that is why here you get more natural frequency compared to natural frequency of the transverse vibration. Okay, so this problem we solved by assuming the beam is a cantilever beam and the inertia effect is not considered, that is the mass of the beam is not considered, only the point load which is applied at the end is only considered. That is what the W shown here at the end of the bar or end of the beam. So with this today we will close the lecture on transverse vibration, free transverse vibration, natural frequency evaluation by a single point load. And in the next class we will see the natural frequency of a transverse vibration with a multiple loads applying a method called Dunkerley's method. That we will see in the next lecture.